Welcome to Journey into Misery, where I explain complicated comics, characters and concepts to the patient and professional practice how to hire. My name is Kieran Shiak, and this week we are talking about
Spider-Woman!
Spider-Woman. We're off the Daredevil train.
Yeah, that ended.
As sad as it may be, Matt Murdock is in the past for the next 10 days until the TV show comes out.
Oh yeah! I forgot about that. Okay.
So yeah, one thing, the disclaimer that I always try to add when it's necessary, it is incredibly windy.
It's really weird.
And you can hear, it's creepy.
It's like a mini storm's going on.
Yeah, like if you step outside, you can't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've not been outside.
I've not been outside today.
Yeah, you step outside, it's
well.
fine. But outside, you just hear it whipping against buildings.
That's really weird.
So yeah, I apologise if any of that comes through, as well as traffic. Because there's always that one dirt bike.
Every week, there's that one guy that just powers up and down the road for like 20 minutes.
So yeah, today is Spider-Woman. But not just Spider-Woman, Spider-Women.
Oh, women.
As we'll be talking about
Nice.
5 ladies
Okay.
to go by that name. As well as a few other women and girls to have spider-themed names and abilities. And I'm kind of intrigued to think, or to know, if people are listening now, when I say there have been 5 Spider-Women, if anyone knows who they are. Because I think there's some people that are like 5. I thought there was 3. But there's been 5 people to go under the name Spider-Woman.
Okay. I don't know any of them.
So before we get to that, just small amount of business
Okay.
today. First up, thank you to Robbie and Matt at The Simpsons Show for pledging to our Patreon.
Oh yeah, good eggs.
I was on their show the other week talking about Home at the Bat, one of my favourite Simpsons episodes, and I had a lot of fun, so I definitely recommend their show. And Robbie's picked an episode that we're going to do when we get back to Patreon episodes in May.
Is this a Patreon
This is a
episode?
Patreon episode, that's where I'm going next.
Okay.
Thanks to Tanner,
Oh yeah.
who picked Spider-Woman for this episode.
Nice.
I did talk to him first. I was like, this may go the Captain Marvel route, where we talk about everyone to cover that name, and that is the
Yeah.
way it's gone. Well, thank you, Tanner, for choosing Spider-Woman. It's honestly a really good choice. I had a lot more fun putting together these notes than I expected to.
I'm excited.
I really, really enjoyed putting together this episode.
I like ladies.
Now, on a sad note, next week there will be no proper canon Journey into Misery episode.
Canon.
Yeah,
What?
because we do because the bonus episodes aren't part of
Oh
them.
right, okay. So like, there's not going to be an actual like straight to the iTunes app episode.
No, it'll probably go to iTunes, but it'll probably be like the episode I did with my granddad,
Oh right, okay.
where it was on iTunes, but it's not a sequentially numbered episode.
Oh right, okay.
Like that wasn't
Nice.
episode 13 or whatever.
Yeah, just like an extra.
Yeah. We're both going to Chicago, UK over the weekend.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday in Wolverhampton, we will both be there. Then Sunday in Cardiff, I will be there, as well as Monday in London. So if you're at any of those shows, please look for me and say hi. But because I'm going to be away for 5 days, I do not have time to put together the notes for an episode. So we're going to do something. I don't quite know what yet. I'm thinking we're going to watch the Aquaman film,
Okay.
the Aquaman cartoon.
Oh yes.
But I don't know yet. So there will be an episode of Journey to Misery next week. It won't be a character analysis. It won't be what I'll refer to as canon.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we will have something coming.
There'll be something.
Lastly,
Sorry.
as always, we have an image gallery where you can check out the pictures that I show Helena over the course of the episode.
Yes.
Go to kingimpulse.com to check that out. Okay, so Spider-Woman, Spider-Women.
Spider ladies.
So the first thing to say that there are 5 Spider-Women in this episode, and for a lot of the time, they've been either team members or supporting characters to male leads.
Okay. Right.
It sucks, but
Well, that's
yeah, sometimes the show's going to drift, and rather than talking about what is happening to a specific Spider-Woman, we were talking about a team that she was on, where she played an important role, or there's a Spider-Man story towards the end where one of the Spider-Women has an important role towards the end of that story.
okay.
So I might take like 5 or 10 minutes to talk about this Spider-Man story or this Avengers story, but you will see why.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Spider-Woman, the first Spider-Woman, was created in 1978 for one reason: to own the copyright to the name Spider-Woman.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Fair enough.
So Wikipedia has a quote from Stan Lee about this, so I've just took this quote right here.
Okay.
So this is Stan Lee. I'm not going to do a Stan Lee impression.
Please don't.
I suddenly realised that some other company may quickly put out a book like that and claim they have the right to use the name, and I thought we'd better do it real fast to copyright the name. So we just batted one quickly, and that's exactly what happened. I wanted to protect the name because it's the type of thing someone else might say, hey, why don't we put out Spider-Woman? They can't stop us. You know, years ago we brought out Wonder Man and DC Comics sued us because they had Wonder Woman, and I said, okay, I'll discontinue Wonder Man. And all of a sudden they've got Power Girl. Oh boy, how unfair.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
And there was a Tarzan like cartoon coming in or something where there was going to be a Spider-Woman in it, and she had to have her name changed to Web Woman.
Oh, okay.
Because of this. So it did work out in Marvel's favour.
Yeah, like, they already had Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if you've got Spider-Man, you might as well have Spider-Woman as well.
Yeah. Because you kind of want to have that, like, when people think of Spider-themed superheroes,
You want to have,
they
like...
think of Marvel.
Yeah, you want to have, like, the continuation of that.
So Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, first appeared in Marvel Spotlight number 32.
Okay.
That's your Spider-Woman.
How long ago was that?
That's 1978.
That's a while ago.
Yeah. That issue was by Archie Goodwin, Sal Buscema and Jim Mooney, but the character design was done by someone named Marie Severin.
Okay.
Yeah. So in her debut issue, she's an agent of Hydra.
Oh, nice.
And Marvel Spotlight was kind of a comic to just introduce new characters.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm pretty sure the issue after this is the very first issue that Deathlock appears in.
Oh,
Which, if
right.
you've watched any of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he is a big character in that.
I've seen, like, 3 episodes.
Yeah. He's, Gunn from Angel.
Yeah.
That's who Gunn is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Deathlock.
Yeah.
So she's an agent of Hydra. She has no memories of her life up until the point where Hydra took her in to save her from being chased by a mob of pitchfork-wielding villagers.
Okay, why?
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know. She's
doesn't
going to find out.
Yeah. She can glide. She can't fly. She can glide. And she has venom blasts
Nice.
that are from her fingers.
That's really...
And she uses those to sneak into a S.H.I.E.L.D. base because she's been tasked with killing Nick Fury,
Right, okay.
who was kidnapped and, like, arrested. Well, not kidnapped, but arrested her boyfriend, who was a Hydra agent.
Nice. I like his hat.
She finds Fury and they fight, but Fury manages to show her the truth of Hydra's terrorism, and specifically her boyfriend engaging in terrorism. Because she grew up in Hydra thinking they were the good guys.
Oh, okay. Right.
She can't believe it and she confronts her lover, and he reveals that it's all true and he was only assigned to love her so that he could be arrested, leading to her coming to assassinate Nick Fury.
Oh, that's really sad.
She heads back to the Hydra base to go after her boss, a dude named Count Otto Vermis.
Otto Vermis.
Sorry, Vermis.
Oh, Vermis. So it's like vermin. Nice.
She confronts him and he reveals her true origin. She was evolved into human form from that of a spider.
Okay.
She was a spider, now she's a human. We've discussed the High Evolutionary before.
Yes.
Big purple dude.
Yes.
He was like, his thing is he creates like man beast hybrids.
Yeah.
He created Spider Woman, but she was too much on the human side, and she was rejected by all of the other like half beast people,
Oh.
cast out, and she repressed that memory, and that's why Hydra picked her up.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
In anger, she leaves Vermis for dead and heads off into the wide world, unsure of what to do with this new knowledge.
Oh,
So what do you think of her being a spider, like a literal spider woman?
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty stupid.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. It gets changed pretty much immediately.
Okay. But, like, it makes sense. Like, she's literally a spider woman.
Yeah, no, it gets changed almost immediately. They tried to do this a lot in the 70s. Like Wolverine
Was a literal
was
Wolverine.
originally a Wolverine that was like evolved into a human. That was the original. I don't think it was ever in the comics, but that was the original idea.
That's dumb.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump ahead to a 2006 miniseries called Spider-Woman Origin
Okay, right.
and give you the definitive Marvel Comics origin for Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. I just had to mention that first issue because,
That's when she first appeared.
yeah, and they tried to get her over as a literal Spider-Woman.
Nice.
So Spider-Woman Origin 2006 miniseries by our good friend Brian Michael Bendis,
Okay.
a guy named Brian Reed, and the Luna Brothers.
Nice.
So Jonathan and Miriam Drew were scientists working on a DNA compiler when there was an accident involving the machine, a spider, and a pregnant Miriam.
Oh, God. Of course.
Jessica Drew was born happy and healthy, but as she grew up, her powers started to manifest, so her dad decided to keep experimenting on her to see how far he could ship.
What? Dude.
When Miriam finds his journal, she tries to take Jessica away, but Jonathan lashes out at his wife. To save her mother, she blasts her father with venom blasts and passes out into a coma.
Oh.
She wakes up 11 years later,
11 years.
a child in a teenager's body,
Oh, God. That's horrible.
under the care of Hydra,
Oh,
because her
God.
parents were Hydra scientists.
Oh, God. I can't imagine anything worse.
They implant false memories in her mind with their psychics, which is where you get the high evolutionary stuff.
Oh,
And
right,
the
yeah.
spider stuff.
Okay. That makes sense. They got around that pretty neatly.
Yeah. And she begins training with the Taskmaster.
Okay, who's he?
He is a general all-purpose Avengers villain.
He's got like an all-purpose tool belt.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
he's one of those guys that has kind of not just photograph memory, but You know, we talked about Echo, the Daredevil character.
Yeah.
You can see someone do something and then do it.
Yeah.
Taskmaster was kind of the first person to have that.
Like super learning.
Yeah, but he uses that against the Avengers by he has his own shield and he has his own bow and arrow and he can do everything the Avengers do.
That's a pretty like sick skill set though.
And he goes around the world fighting the best fighters to learn their skills.
Nice.
So she's trained by like the guy who knows everyone's skills.
I want to be him. Like, he's the coolest.
She falls in love with Jared, the guy from before.
Oh.
And with Hydra, due to their she falls in love with Jared and she falls in love with Hydra.
Oh,
Due to their lies and half-truths about the sort of organisation they are.
Yeah.
After 3 months of training, she's ready to go out in the field in the story from Marvel Spotlight number 32.
Okay, right.
And after that, she vanishes. She's gone for 2 years with both S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra looking for her.
Okay, where is she?
She just goes off the grid. She's
She's just wandering.
She's got the best training Hydra could pay for.
Okay, so she's
like,
okay.
She's like the ultimate spy.
She's cool.
Hydra track her down to a nightclub where she manages to escape, having finally defeated her former teacher, the Taskmaster.
Okay.
Another 2 years go by without anyone finding her. She's going to university and is tracked down by Nick Fury, who offers her a job and tells her that her parents are still alive.
Okay.
She joins S.H.I.E.L.D. and they get to work tracking them down.
She could have just gone to university.
Man,
She could have just gone to university.
But
She could have just like got a life in order.
she wants to find her parents. She wants to find her mum. Last they heard, her father went to work for Hydra,
Okay.
like full time, and her mother has been living under a maiden name in New York.
Oh.
Jessica goes to find her mother, but it's a Hydra trap, and her mother is now dead for real.
Oh, of course. So she could have just gone to uni in the first place and everything would have been okay.
She finds some documents in her mother's apartment that leads her to the oil rig where her father is working.
Okay. Is he still a dick?
Yep. She has an emotional reconciliation that ends with Jessica abandoning her father to his Hydra life, because he's immediately like, we need to do tests, we need to do this, we need to do that.
I hate him. He's a knob.
She starts to blow up the oil rig when Hydra send out what Jonathan Drew has been working on all these years.
What is it?
A Spider-Woman army.
Oh.
They fight and the oil rig blows up, and as Jess lays dying in the water, she's rescued by S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
Following this, Nick Fury tells her that she has an open offer to join S.H.I.E.L.D., but she wants to be herself for a while and try being a superhero in her own right.
Oh, that's cute.
So to go back to the 70s, Marvel Spotlight number 32 sold unexpectedly well. Because to them it was just, get this comic out, we've got the copyright.
Yeah.
But so it sold really well, so they said, okay, let's give her a solo series.
Yay.
So she spun off into her own ongoing with a new, slightly redesigned costume.
Okay.
So basically she's got the hair out now.
Yeah. That's cool. I like her like little wing flaps.
Yeah, those are nice. Those stick around as well through into her new costume, which we'll get to right at the end of the show.
Is it awful?
I like it. It's not the best of the like new wave of costume redesigns.
Does it go from being okay to terrible to okay again?
No, it goes from being like okay to yeah, that's better.
Okay, that's alright. As long as it's not like
'Cause-
Jeff Johns.
Because you mean Greg Arnold?
Yeah, so who's Jeff Johns?
Jeff Johns is the DC guy.
Yeah, it's because I was looking at the microphone and we named it Jeff.
You named it Jeff.
Yeah, I mean Greg.
Mhm.
Fucking Greg.
Yeah, and well, okay, I'll save that. I'll save that for now. But yeah, this costume tends to be drawn a bit cheesecake. Do you know what cheesecake means?
No.
Cheesecake is like tits and ass.
Okay. Why is it called that?
I don't know. It's just like it's just cheesecake. That's just.
That's just the grossest way of wording anything ever.
I don't know. That's just like that's another phrase that like I'm just used to it being a thing,
It's
and you're like.
disgusting. I don't like it.
So she gets spun off into her own ongoing series, and there's 50 issues of that. So I can't cover everything, but it's kind of dark. It's like kind of horror themed at points.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, from what I read of it, it's really cool, but I don't have time to recap it all.
Okay.
Like when she's after the whole thing with Hydra, she finds it hard to adjust to life outside of the spy world and experiences severe shyness and anxiety and outright rejection from the people around her.
Oh.
Turns out she has a fear-inducing pheromone,
Okay.
and that kind of makes people distrust her.
Oh, sad.
But she later masters that, and she's able to induce love or attraction or loyalty.
Oh.
She becomes a bounty hunter, then a private investigator, but due to dwindling sales and the audience's kind of refusal to accept her as anything other than a female knockoff Spider-Man, her book was cancelled at number 50.
Oh, that's sad.
So they knew they were going out, they wanted to go out with a bang. So for the last 4 issues, they brought in a new writer to really shake things up, someone by the name of Ann Nesenti.
Yeah, she's back.
So there's this whole stuff in those final issues that was kind of really creepy and it's really good. I read those final issues and they're really good. In issue 50, she enters the spirit realm with her wizard friend Magnus to fight her nemesis, Morgan Le Fay.
Ah,
Have you heard of Morgan Le Fay?
I haven't, but she looks really cool.
She's like a legit King Arthur character.
That's amazing.
Like she's like a public domain King Arthur character.
I don't like how booby
Yeah.
her costume is, but she looks cool as hell.
And while she defeats Le Fay there, Le Fay is able to kill Jessica's physical body.
Oh, okay.
Trapped in a spirit realm with no body to return to, before she prepares to accept her fate, she asks her mentor Magnus to make it like she never existed.
Okay.
Everyone she ever knew or met forgets who she was as she walks off into spirit realm.
Oh.
And that's how the comic ends.
So she's dead.
Yeah.
She's gone.
And there's kind of like a fourth wall breaking moment where she waves to the reader and she's like, "Oh, we had a good time."
Oh, it's really sad.
She walks off into the spirit realm.
Oh no.
So apparently readers were outraged over this being the end of Spider-Woman.
Yeah, damn right.
So a year later, in the pages of Avengers, she was brought back.
Yeah.
After she died, her body was discovered by the heroes Tigra.
Yes. She has like claws.
Yeah,
She needs to wear like clothes.
yeah.
Why did they do this? It makes me so angry. You can't fight crime in a bikini. It's not practical.
She's got little furry boobies.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Furries.
I like that
It's
they,
the furries.
I like that they made sure to like put fur detail on the boobies.
Yeah, furry titties.
So she's found
We
by
love this.
she's found by Tigra and the Shroud. I didn't put a picture of the Shroud in.
Who's the Shroud?
The Shroud.
Oh, okay, him, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about him a bit in Daredevil.
Yeah, who's got like the weird hands.
Yeah. Well, no, he
Yeah, he's got
melts.
the weird hands,
yeah.
look.
Yeah, he melts into shadow.
Yeah.
So they find her, and when they see her body, it like brings back their memories of who she was, because no one was looking for her.
Yeah.
But they find her like shortly after she died, so they're able to perform CPR and bring her back, but without her soul,
Okay.
she's in a
right.
coma. In the following days, they began experiencing ghostly visions of Jess, like around the place. So Tiger calls in the Avengers to help.
Oh.
The Avengers recruit Doctor Strange to help, and they try and bring her back to life. And after a fight with Morgan Le Fay, who tries to take over Jess's body, Jessica returns to her body, but without her Spider-Woman powers.
Okay, right.
From here, she continues as a private investigator, and for a while is a supporting character for Wolverine, but for the most part, she's absent from the 80s through to the late 90s.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So not long after Jessica Drew's retirement, a shady government agency named the Commission on Superhuman Activities wants to build their own superhero.
That sounds really shady.
And Val Cooper, who is primarily an X-Men character, just like a government agent,
Yeah.
she works for the CSA. She recruits her college friend and single mother, Julia Carpenter,
Okay.
to take part in what she thinks are athletic tests.
Okay, and she's gonna become Spider-Woman.
But she's accidentally given spider powers.
Oh, what an accident. Look how that happened.
She has generic super strength, speed, stamina and all that. She can't fly, like spin webs or shoot venom blasts, but she does have the ability to create like psychoelectric web net
That's weird.
out of like this weird like psychoelectric energy. She makes her first proper appearance in the first Secret Wars.
Okay.
So that's Julia Carpenter as
I
Spider-Woman.
like that outfit. That's cool.
And we'll talk about this more in a few weeks when we do an episode on Secret Wars 1 and 2 ahead of the 2015 Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman and Isard Ribic.
Okay, I still have no idea what Secret Wars is.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that towards the end of April.
It's so mysterious.
Do you know? I've told you why it's called Secret Wars, haven't I? Because the market testing thing.
Remember?
They asked boy because it was a thing with Mattel.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, and they polled like 10-year-old boys what your favourite words were, and the favourite words were secret and war.
Yeah, so just put it together because that's like so smart.
So after the Secret Wars, Julia returns to Earth. She joins the Freedom Force.
Okay,
The CSA team is tasked with bringing in unregistered mutants.
right.
And we talked about this in the Daredevil and the Senti episode.
Yes.
She didn't realise that she was actually working for the bad guys, but an encounter with the X-Men started her thinking that she may not be on the right team. When Freedom Force was sent after and actually took down the Avengers, Julia realised she was definitely on the wrong side and betrayed them to help the Avengers, making her a fugitive in the process.
Oh, so she's now on the good side.
She's on the good side, but the government want her.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll work out eventually, I assume.
Eventually, with the help of Iron Man, she was pardoned
Yeah, see?
and went on to join the West Coast Avengers.
The West Coast Avengers.
So these are like the Los Angeles. I think it was Los Angeles, maybe San Francisco.
So they have an Avengers for each, like, place.
Well, for a while there was like the Avengers in New York, and then there was the West Coast Avengers in California.
Okay, so
That is Iron Man.
Captain America.
Nope.
No? He looks exactly like
Yeah.
Captain America. Who the fuck is he?
I'll tell you in a second. We'll wait till last. I'm not sure who that one is. I'm not sure.
Sort of like a bug.
There's Iron Man, Hawkeye,
Yeah.
Spider-Woman, Scarlet Witch, Wonder Man, and the US Agent.
Captain America.
US Agent. US Agent took over from Steve Rogers for a bit, and then when Steve Rogers went back to being Captain America, he became the US Agent.
That's weird. Okay. Why?
Because he was
What's wrong with Captain America?
well, because he couldn't be Captain America anymore because Steve Rogers took the role back.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
there's a whole thing where I could be getting this wrong. Steve Rogers gives up the mantle because he doesn't trust the government anymore and he doesn't want to be associated with that government. So he becomes Nomad. So I want to say John Walker is his name. I could be wrong. He becomes the new Captain America until Captain America comes back, and then John Walker had fans who still wanted to see stories about him.
Oh right, so he's
Yeah, same way
that
how
guy.
you know Jim Rhodes
Yeah.
from Iron Man. He was originally a replacement Iron Man.
Oh, okay. Right.
I think that might actually be Jim Rhodes as Iron Man.
So he's just like a knockoff Captain America.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Iron Man in the West Coast Avengers was actually Rhodey.
Okay, cool.
But when Tony Stark goes back to being Iron Man, Rhodey still needs something to do. So he
Yeah,
was War
so they
Machine.
just give him like a thing.
Yeah. So, yes, the West Coast Avengers are exactly what they sound like. While part of the West Coast Avengers, she's recruited to join the Secret Defenders
Okay,
by Doctor Strange.
that's cool.
So that is Doctor Strange, Spider-Woman, Darkhawk, Wolverine, and the second Nomad
Okay, right.
after Steve Rogers gives up the title.
What do they do?
They're kind of like heroes that Doctor Strange assembles. Over the course of the series, it's very much different team every issue.
Okay, right.
And Doctor Strange sends them out to do mystic jobs that no one can know about.
Mystic jobs.
When the West Coast Avengers disbanded, the team Force Works rose out of the ashes.
Okay, who's Force Works?
It's the West Coast Avengers, basically.
Okay.
And Julia remained a member. She then had her own 4-issue miniseries, Spider-Woman miniseries, where she had to face kind of 3 evil attempts at a Spider-Woman called the Death Web,
Okay.
created by the CSA to replace her.
Right.
And eventually Julie retired to look after her daughter, Rachel.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you now, nothing happens to Rachel.
Yay! She retired happily and nothing happened to her kid.
On the other hand, here's Mattie Franklin. Mattie Franklin is the niece of J. Jonah Jameson
Okay.
and the daughter of an associate of Norman Osborn,
Okay.
who got powers in an ancient ritual that her father was supposed to be part of.
That's weird.
She became the new Spider-Woman.
Oh, okay, so she looks a lot like Spider-Man.
Yeah, and she is traditionally 15 years old.
I really don't like that art.
She jumps to 20. In the 21st century, she gets a jump up to 20. Just
Okay.
because we're about to go dark.
I don't like
We're
it.
about to go very dark.
Am I supposed to like it?
No, I don't think so. So she becomes the new Spider-Woman, and Peter Parker takes a special interest in her because she's only 15, and that's the same age he was when he became Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Were you a bit worried then when I said special interest?
No.
You had a worried look.
No.
So not long into her career as Spider-Woman, basically days, both Jessica Drew and Julia Carpenter are attacked by someone who drains their powers.
Oh.
As Peter's trying to talk Mattie into being more careful, she's attacked by this mysterious person who claims to be the one true Spider-Woman.
Oh, okay. Who is she?
We'll get there very quickly. Peter takes her to Black Cat's apartment, but the evil Spider-Woman tracks them down and tries to drain Mattie of her power again.
Alright.
Spider-Man manages to chase her away and hits a spider tracker on her.
Yeah.
Peter tracks her down and she flips out because part of her doesn't want to be doing this. She says she was turned into this new Spider-Woman by a doctor of some sort, and all she remembers is that she's supposed to drain the powers of the other Spider-Woman and then kill Spider-Man.
Was it Octopus?
It was.
It's always gonna be fucking Octopus.
She knocks him out and takes Spider-Man to her master, Dr. Octopus, but Peter is able to get away safely and defeat them. Meanwhile, Mattie is visited in hospital by Madam Web, who tells her she has a job.
Okay.
So Madam Web, do you remember Madam Web from the cartoon?
What she look like? Yes! Yeah, I remember her yeah.
Do you remember what her thing is?
No, I don't remember a deal.
She's like a blind clairvoyant.
Alright, yeah.
She sees multiple futures. She tries to guide Spider-Man. Traditionally, she's a mutant. I didn't know this, but there's more to it than that. But yeah, traditionally she's just a psychic clairvoyant mutant.
Okay, right.
But it becomes something else. Her granddaughter is Charlotte Witter,
Who is...
the evil Spider-Woman.
Okay, right.
Okay, so Mattie Franklin then gets an 18-issue solo series,
Nice.
and it's not on Marvel Unlimited.
It's not.
No. So
Why?
I don't know. So I had to rely on... It's like not everything is on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
So I had to rely on Wikipedia, but they didn't have much information about these 18 issues either.
Oh.
I imagine whatever Madam Web had in mind for it happened there. Wiki tells me that Jessica Drew was a part of the series, and eventually both Jessica and Julia get their powers back. the important information for the future is that she moves in with her aunt and uncle,
Okay.
Marla and J. Jonah Jameson.
Okay, why? Do we not know?
I imagine something happens in the series.
Yeah.
I think she gets orphaned.
Oh,
I don't know.
babe.
I couldn't find the issues to read. So there's nothing major that happens with any of the Spider-Women for about 4 or 5 years until the early 2000s series Alias.
Okay.
Have we talked about Alias before?
No.
We've definitely talked about its star, Jessica Jones.
We have!
Bodyguard to Matt Murdock.
Yeah!
Wife to Luke Cage. Interesting, complex woman in her own right.
Yeah, she's in the show.
Yeah.
Or a show of some sort.
I didn't want to define her by the men in her life, but I would say like this is where you remember her from.
Yeah, I know she is.
Yeah, Alias is so good. It's Marvel's first mature themes
That's cool.
book in the Marvel universe.
Ooh, okay.
So while she's in Daredevil, it's like a rated T for teen book.
Yeah.
She's in Alias, where she's swearing and like having one night stands with Luke Cage
That's awesome.
and all sorts.
That's so cool.
So Jessica is a former teen superhero who went through a serious trauma and quit to become a private detective, and she still has all of her powers.
Okay.
So this is where it's going to get really dark. She comes home one night to find Mattie Franklin, obviously like super high,
Right.
in Jessica's apartment. But when Mattie sees that Jessica isn't the Jessica she was looking for, she runs away, leaving her mask behind. Jessica Jones uses her contacts in S.H.I.E.L.D. to discover that Mattie Franklin's uncle is J. Jonah Jameson, who is someone who Jessica Jones has had dealings with in the past
Yeah.
and does not like her.
Oh.
Jameson does not like her one bit. And she goes to try and find some more information off Jameson to try and help, but he thinks she's trying to con him out of some money,
Yeah.
so he just kicks her to the curb. She tries to get in contact with her fellow private investigator and former Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, but can't reach her through any of the numbers she has.
Right.
She sets her intern, Malcolm, to ask around the teens if they've seen any Spider-Women around, and gets a call to meet with Madam Web.
Yeah.
Madam Web tells Jess that she's having a hard time seeing where Mattie is, but there's dancing and strobe lights, and that she and Jess are going to fight. In one future, Jess kills Mattie. In another future, Mattie kills Jess, and there are dozens of other potential futures.
Right. Okay.
The next day, Malcolm returns with his friend Lainey, and Lainey's brother, Denny, is a wannabe drug, like big shot drug dealer,
Okay.
and also Mattie Franklin's current boyfriend.
Ooh. Right.
And they hang out at the Shady Club.
The Shady Club.
It's not called the Shady Club.
That would be such a good name for it.
So Jess gets all dolled up to make it into the nightclub after she gets turned away for just showing up like as Jessica Jones.
Okay. Right.
And she gets invited to join Denny's private VIP area.
Ooh.
She sees Mattie Franklin in costume just strung out on Denny's lap.
In costume.
Yeah.
What?
And it's worse than that. They're using Mattie to make mutant growth hormone
Oh.
from an untreated bullet wound in her back.
Oh no.
At some point, Mattie was basically like slipped a date rape drug,
Oh, that's horrible.
and these guys have been like
taking advantage of
taking
that.
advantage of her.
Sad.
Jess flips out and fights Denny, who's hopped up on MGH. She gets thrown out of the club, and after a visit to the hospital, heads home, where she's attacked by Jessica Drew, the
Okay.
first Spider-Woman.
Right. Okay. So everyone's here.
Jessica Drew's been out of the country and came back to find Mattie missing, with word on the street that Jessica Jones was the last person to see her.
Yeah.
What she hasn't done is check her messages to see that Jess Jones phoned her.
Oh. Right.
So she stops attacking, but Jess Jones gets revenge by clocking Jessica Drew out cold.
Right.
Interesting fact, Alias was originally supposed to be about Jessica Drew as a private detective,
Yeah.
but because of the mature themes, they asked Brian Bendis to create a new character.
Oh, cool.
Like, Brian Bendis is a massive Jessica Drew fan,
Yay. That's awesome.
which we'll see more of in about 2 or 3 minutes. The two Jessicas track down Mattie and Denny to a hotel. When they get there, they find the superhero Speedball.
Oh, what? Who's he?
He's a teen superhero. He creates these like kinetic balls. He's a very fun, goofy, like good time traditional superhero who does not fit in this story at all.
He looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so like he really stands out in this story, which is really great. Speedball freaks out under the pressure, and his weird speedballs go everywhere. In the chaos, the Jessies manage to take out Denny, and when the police show up, Jess Jones crashes out the window with Mattie and drops her off with the Jamesons.
Nice. Okay.
6 weeks later, Marla Jameson brings Mattie, who is now in rehab and counselling, to visit Jessica
Aww.
Jones to thank her for saving her life.
Oh, that's nice. Everything went okay.
Yeah.
Don't laugh, because I know it's going to go to shit.
So, Jessica Drew goes back to working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
and whilst on assignment bodyguarding Matt Murdock as he visits the island prison The Raft, there's a massive breakout,
Yeah.
like massive supervillain breakout, which leads to a new Avengers team forming.
Ooh, okay.
So there's your Avengers team.
Ooh, who are they? Who are they? Who are they?
So you've got Spider-Woman in the middle,
Nice.
Luke Cage, who isn't pictured here, Captain America,
Yep.
Iron Man,
Yep.
Wolverine,
Yep.
Spider-Man,
Yep.
Ronin,
Oh, okay. Right.
and the Sentry.
Nice. Is she like the lead?
No, not really. She's important though. She's very important. Like I said,
Why is she like centric?
it's just that one cover.
Okay.
Well, like I said, this is Brian Bendis. Brian Bendis loves Jessica Drew.
Why? I don't understand why she's got like boob patches.
Yeah. That's why I said this costume gets very cheesecakey.
Yeah, yeah. I like the colours.
Yeah. So, important note for later, Ronin is Echo
Oh, okay.
from the Daredevil.
Yeah, yeah.
The Death Leader.
Yeah.
So this new Avengers team forms, and what the Avengers don't know is that Jessica had been struggling with her powers
Oh, okay.
prior to this, prior to her rejoining S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And Hydra offered to give them her back in exchange for her spying on the S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers,
Oh,
and
right.
she accepted. So she's working for Hydra.
Oh.
When Captain America witnesses Jess free Madam Hydra,
Yes.
he confronts her about it to know what's going on.
Nice. Okay.
So when Hydra made the offer, she called Nick Fury,
Right.
who told her to do it and be a triple agent.
Ooh. Okay.
She's working for S.H.I.E.L.D., spying on Hydra, spying on S.H.I.E.L.D., and feeding the bad guys false information.
Yeah.
After the operation, she's back as Spider. Like it's this like intense, grueling 17-hour operation to give Spider-Woman improved powers. She can fly, not glide. She can fly,
Yeah.
and her pheromone powers are amped up.
Nice.
When Nick Fury's Secret War, remember covers the Secret War,
Yes.
not Secret Wars, Secret War,
Secret War singular.
the thing in that area.
Yes.
When that comes back to bite him, he goes to ground with no one else on S.H.I.E.L.D., knowing that Jessica is working for Hydra as well.
Yes. Okay.
So she's got like no out. Captain America tells her to keep doing what she's doing now, and they'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Later that night, Jess meets with Hydra, or her Hydra handler, and lets him know everything that happened that day, and that Cap wants her help to take Hydra down. So just whose side is Jessica Drew on?
Everyone's.
Or no one's, or her own?
Her own. Yeah, her own probably.
So during the Superhuman Civil War, Tony Stark tells S.H.I.E.L.D. about Jessica's triple agent status,
Right.
and they bring her in, telling her like you have to side with Iron Man's side, or we'll arrest you and send you to prison.
Oh.
While she's being interrogated, Hydra crashed the helicarrier and rescued Jess,
Yeah.
telling her that they wanted to take over from Madam Hydra as the new leader.
Okay.
Jessica
Right.
says fuck that and blows up the base.
Oh shit.
She heads back to America and tries to meet Nick Fury at one of his secret bases, but stumbles upon Captain America's resistance
Oh god.
and begs them to let her join as she's got nowhere else to go. So Julia Carpenter,
Yeah.
now going under the name Arachne,
Ooh.
actually registers under the Superhuman Registration Act,
Yeah.
and along with Ms. Marvel and Wonder Man, they're tasked with bringing down superheroes.
Yeah.
But what she's actually doing is she's a double agent, tipping off targets before S.H.I.E.L.D. can come after them.
Okay. Right.
When the Prowler is
Oh.
when he's arrested,
He's very purple.
he reveals what Julia's been up to,
Yeah.
and she gets arrested and sent to the Negative Zone prison.
Right. Okay.
So after the Civil War is over, Canada undergoes this big crime wave
In Canada.
as villains have fled across the border. Now that kind of the superheroes have been militarized.
Okay, that makes sense.
S.H.I.E.L.D. helps Canada's government by sending superheroes to help form Omega Flight, which includes Arachne, and there is
Ooh.
Omega Flight.
Who else is there?
So you've got Spider-Woman,
Nice.
US Agent,
Yeah.
Sasquatch,
Okay.
The Guardian,
Okay.
Shaman,
Yep.
and Beta Ray Bill.
Nice.
And they are Omega Flight.
Nice.
And it's a really cool miniseries, and it was supposed, but the problem was it was supposed to be an ongoing series.
Oh, so they just left a whole bunch of stuff undone?
Yeah, well basically they kind of had to retool it. Like it got changed from an ongoing to a mini before it came out,
Oh.
but you could still kind of tell
It
that.
was meant to be like a longer thing.
Yeah, it really affected the pacing of the series.
So-
I really enjoyed the Omega Flight miniseries.
It sounds like super serious and like
That's kind of lighthearted.
authoritative.
Well, like it's got space horse Thor, so
Well, yeah.
it's only so serious you can get.
Just like the name.
Yeah. Well, it's a riff on Alpha Flight, who are the traditional Canadian super.
Oh right, I didn't know that.
So here we're going to talk about the Fugitive Avengers team for a little bit,
Yeah.
because after the Civil War, Captain America's side loses, Captain America gets assassinated,
Yeah.
and there's two Avengers books. The Mighty Avengers are Iron Man's team, who are pro-registration, and the New Avengers are Luke Cage's team
Who are anti-registration.
and the anti-registration. And Jess is a member.
Yes.
So, following Captain America's assassination, Carol Danvers tries to bring Jessica back in onto the pro-reg side by telling her that Cap didn't actually die, and they have him in holding.
Okay.
Jessica returns to the Fugitive Avengers to tell them, and while most people recognise it's probably a trap, they recognise that if it was Captain America, he'd do it for them.
Who would?
And the potential reward is worth the risk.
Okay.
It is a trap though when Captain America is still dead.
Of course.
The government Avengers are waiting for them, but with the help of their new member Doctor Strange, who Iron Man wasn't expecting, they escape, and the next day Iron Fist gets a visit from Dakota North.
Ooh, right.
So before the Civil War broke out, the Avengers sent Ronin to Japan to keep an eye on the Hand,
Yeah.
and then promptly forgot about her.
Right.
Things went badly for her, and her "if you're reading this, they got me" email makes its way to Matt Murdock.
Right.
And he's busy in Europe, as we
Yeah.
covered, so he informs the Fugitive Avengers, who then head to Japan to rescue her.
Okay, so it's nice tie-ins.
They get there slightly too late, and Ronin has been killed by Elektra and resurrected by the Hand.
Oh, okay.
They rescue her and escape to the Silver Samurai's compound.
Right. Okay.
The Hand track them down and have them surrounded.
Okay.
Echo wakes up and is all evil and hand-possessed as the ninja strike. The Avengers fight the Hand, and Doctor Strange manages to snap Echo out of her conditioning,
Oh, right. Okay.
and she then runs straight for Elektra and stabs her right through the gut, killing her.
Oh, shit.
The Hand scatter as the Avengers gather around Elektra's dead body and see that in death it has turned into a Skrull.
Oh, no. Not the scrolls.
So, I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger for a second.
No. What's going to happen now?
Matty Franklin
Yeah.
moved out to Los Angeles and joined a support group for former superheroes trying to stay out of costume,
Okay.
called the Loners.
Oh.
But she's actually there she followed the dealers to Los Angeles
Yeah.
to try and get revenge for them ruining her life, and she's using the support group to try and find like-minded people to help her with her quest.
Yeah.
And eventually she recruits them one by one and becomes superheroes again, and it's a fun little throwaway miniseries
Okay.
about some of the more forgotten teen superheroes
Yeah.
like Ricochet and Lightspeed and the good guy Green Goblin.
Okay.
So back with the Fugitive Avengers, on their way back to America from Japan, and none of them know who to trust. Anyone on that plane could be a Skrull.
Yeah.
Tony Stark could be a Skrull. Captain America could have been a Skrull, or he could have been killed by Skrulls.
Yeah.
They just don't know how many Skrulls there could be. Jessica wants to take Skrull-Electra's body to Tony Stark, because a possible infiltration and invasion is far bigger than the squabbles they've been having right now.
Yeah.
The rest of the team are super against this, because they think if anyone's a Skrull, it's going to be Tony Stark after what he's done over the
Yeah.
Civil War. When Ultron attacks in the Mighty Avengers book, it sends out an EMP that affects the new Avengers plane,
Ooh.
causing them to crash.
Okay.
With the Avengers scattered, Spider-Woman goes for the body. Wolverine tries to stop her, and she zaps him with her Venom Blast before leaving with Skrull-Electra.
Nice.
She takes the body to Tony Stark, who takes it to the Illuminati, which is where Black Bolt reveals that he's a Skrull. And you remember we did that?
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking on him.
And that kicks off the secret invasion.
Okay. Right.
As Tony is dissecting the Skrull-Electra with Hank Pym and Reed Richards, he
Gross.
gets word from Sword. Sword
Right.
are
Who are they?
their shield but for space.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it sword in capitals?
Yeah. There's shield, sword and armour.
Oh, okay, right.
Shield does Earth, Sword does space threats to Earth, and armour does multidimensional.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they do like other world stuff?
Yeah. They do like the multiverse.
Yeah.
So he gets word from Sword that something has just crashed in the Savage Land.
Right.
He calls Spider-Woman, who is now on the good guy, well not the good guy team, but she's on his team,
Yeah.
to assemble the Avengers and meet him there, because it could be a Skrull ship. But Jessica still doesn't trust that Tony isn't a Skrull, so she phones the Fugitive Avengers to meet them there as well. Both teams of Avengers make their way there, and out of the ship comes dozens and dozens of superheroes,
Oh.
all in their classic costumes,
Right.
like Beast and Emma Frost and Wonder Man, Captain America,
Why are they all just coming out suddenly?
because they're saying that they were captured and replaced by Skrulls years ago.
Oh.
But more importantly, there are people coming out of that ship who showed up to check out the ship.
Okay.
So like a Wolverine comes out and a Spider-Man comes out.
And they're like, what?
So they're both saying, no, you're the Skrull. Tony Stark shows up and he's trying to keep the peace. His armor is hit with a Skrull virus and he goes into shock.
Oh.
The modern group and the throwbacks fight as they both claim to be the real non-Skrull heroes.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel whisks Iron Man to safety as a T-Rex rampages through.
A T-Rex?
Yeah, it's the Savage Land. There's dinosaurs in
That
Savage
was
Land.
amazing. This is everything.
The T-Rex scatters like everyone. Tony tries to fix himself in the remains of a Savage Land lab, and some of the modern heroes find a bunch of the crashed hostage heroes dead as Skrulls.
Oh.
Spider-Woman tracks Tony Stark down and reveals that she herself is the Skrull Queen Varanki,
What? Okay.
and that Tony Stark is a Skrull sleeper agent,
Oh my god.
and he's done a marvellous job, but he can stop now.
He did well.
But Black Widow shows up and chases Spider-Woman away, and like convinces Tony, no, you're Tony Stark, she's fucking with you, like calm down. So what happened to Jess?
I don't know.
Because this is
Where'd she go?
Varanki. This
Yeah.
isn't Jessica Drew. When she agreed to rejoin Hydra to get her powers back, she actually agreed with a Skrull sect within Hydra,
Okay.
and they used the operation to switch Jessica out for the Skrull Queen.
Right.
She's been behind this the whole time. Even the prison break that brought the Avengers together in the first place was planned by the Skrulls,
Right.
and everything's been done by Varanki.
Okay.
And now she's going to take over the world.
Right. Naturally.
It all leads to a massive standoff at Central Park between the assembled heroes and villains of Earth and Varanki Spider-Woman and her Super Skrull army.
Yeah.
The two forces fight for the fate of the world, and as Wolverine goes for the kill on Varanki, she's taken out by a sniper's bullet.
Oh, okay.
Norman Osborn, the former Green Goblin
Yeah.
and current head of the Thunderbolts, fired the shot heard around the world, effectively ending the invasion.
Well, at least he ended something.
And this is how Norman Osborn takes over.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because Iron Man was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's seen to have categorically failed in his
Yeah,
job.
he fucked that up.
And everyone's like, okay, Norman Osborn, you saved the world, we'll give you a go.
You can try.
As the remaining Skrull forces are rounded up, the heroes come across a ship that actually has all the people kidnapped and replaced by Skrulls, including Jessica Drew,
Oh.
who has come back to find that her face is the most hated and feared face in the world.
What? Why?
Because the Skrull Queen was dressed as Spider-Man.
Out of everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what if like you woke up and all of a sudden, like, everyone was saying you were responsible for some like massive terrorist attack?
Yeah, honey.
So for years, Brian Bendis talked about wanting to do a Spider-Woman series
Yeah.
with his former Daredevil cohort, Alex Maleev.
Right.
But it never materialised. It became just like this mythical, like, kind of a joke, like, oh yeah, the Spider-Woman comic, like Dr. Dre's Detox or something.
Yeah.
After the Secret Invasion, it was all kind of obvious why that never happened. Originally, they were going to reveal that she was a Skrull in the first issue of her own comic, but Bendis didn't want to sell something to readers that was a lie, so it got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. But eventually, after the Secret Invasion, Spider-Woman got her own ongoing for the first time in like 20 years.
Nice.
And Jessica Drew's first ongoing in like 35 years.
Nice.
She gets recruited by Abigail Brand,
Okay.
who is the director of S.W.O.R.D.
There's a lot of green women.
Yeah. And she basically becomes a Man in Black.
Okay. Right.
She's going to hunt down aliens on Earth illegally, especially Skrulls.
Yeah.
She heads to Madripoor,
Okay.
which is this fictional country which is like if the seediest, dirtiest red light district was an entire country.
Ew. Okay.
And she gets attacked by a Skrull trying to pose as Spider-Man and kills it by falling out of a window with it onto a car.
Nice.
She wakes up in a Madripoorian jail but is rescued by Madam Hydra,
Okay.
who wants her to stay in Madripoor and help her clean up Hydra from the Skrulls. Because the Skrulls were
Fair enough.
the Skrulls were literally everywhere. They were in every aspect of both government and criminal organisations and all sorts.
Right.
She declines Madam Hydra's offer and leaves, but gets confronted by Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
looking to bring her back to America. She gets nearly taken down by the Ghost, but manages to get away, leaving the Thunderbolts empty-handed. She manages to track down the Skrull she went to Madripoor after, and after he beats her senseless within an inch of her life, taunting her that the only reason she was replaced was because there was no one as high profile as her, that also had no one that would notice them missing.
Oh. Right.
As she's about to get killed, the fugitive Avengers show up and save her, and together they defeat the Super Skrull.
Oh, good.
As Jessica recovers, she decides to leave S.W.O.R.D. and focus on the Avengers properly for the first time.
Yay.
Because this is Jessica Drew that's never been in the Avengers really.
Yeah.
Because the other one wasn't her. So she joins the Avengers and she's like a high profile member of the Avengers from there on out.
Awesome.
Okay, so you've heard of Sergei Kravinoff, Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
Yes. Well, he died years ago.
Oh, right.
He fought Spider-Man, beat him, and then like killed himself.
Oh.
Because like that is the greatest accomplishment
Sad.
I will ever achieve. He kills himself. He has a family of Kravens.
Yeah.
Firstly, like kind of estranged, there is his brother Dimitri, aka the Chameleon.
You have a face.
Do you remember the Chameleon from the cartoons?
No.
Well, what like What do you think his powers are? Or what do you think he does?
Changes to his environment.
Changes his faces.
Oh, right, that makes sense.
Yeah, because he's got all the faces in the background.
So he can just be anyone.
Yeah, he was in the cartoon.
I can't remember him.
That's fine. In the Spider-Man cartoon. So there's a chameleon. There's his wife, Sasha,
Okay,
and daughter, Anna.
nice.
There's Alyosha.
Okay,
And there is Vladimir.
nice.
Vladimir is also dead. They want to bring the remaining Kravenoffs want to bring Sergei back to life,
Yeah,
and they need the spiders to do it.
yeah.
The spider heroes, and they start what they call the Grim Hunts. They kidnap both Matty Franklin and Madam Web and attack Peter Parker's clone,
Yeah.
Kane.
Okay, right.
That's Kane, Kaine,
Yeah,
not Kane like the rest of them.
right.
As Peter is swinging about, he comes across Julia Carpenter, Arachne,
Yeah.
being attacked by the Cravens, and they fight them off. At the Cravenoff mansion, Matty has accepted the fate that Madam Web has told her, and she asks Madam Web to tell Spider-Man that she died with a brave face. She's taken away by the Cravens and sacrificed to bring Vladimir back to life.
Okay.
So Matty Franklin is now dead. But it doesn't quite work, and Vladimir comes back as a half lion, half beast, half man
Yeah.
sort of thing. Sasha concludes that in order to resurrect Kraven, they need the blood of the one true spider.
That's terrifying.
So Ezekiel, Peter's dead mentor, is this guy that believes that there's this spider goddess through which all the spider heroes are connected through something called the Great Web.
Right.
He catches up to Peter and Julia to tell them what he knows of the Cravenoff's plans. So the Cravens attack Aranya,
Okay. Ooh, I like that.
who is a spider-themed hero.
She looks sort of like street clothy.
Yeah,
She like goggles.
Yeah.
Nice.
she's a teenager called Anya Corazon,
Okay.
but she's saved by Peter, Julia, and Kane.
Right. Is she Spider Girl?
No, she's Aranya,
Alright.
who has, Kane showed up separately. The Cravens manage to get away with Aranya and Julia when Kane stops Peter from going after her, and Kane and Peter do not get on.
Okay. Yeah, because they're like clones.
Yeah, for a while Kane was just a straight up Spider-Man villain.
Nice.
But Kane tells Peter, you need to be smart about this, because the Cravens have Madam Web, so they
Yeah.
have access to the future. Peter says that's bullshit, and then Ezekiel says, come on Peter, we still need one more spider to win this, we need Venom. So Peter goes with Ezekiel to get Venom.
Yeah.
And it's a trap.
Of course.
Ezekiel is actually Craven's brother Dimitri, the chameleon,
Yep.
who leads him right to the
Saw
Cravens.
that coming.
They kick Spider-Man all over the place. Like, they just beat the shit out of him, they knock him into this grave, they drag him back out, they place him on the altar, and they kill Spider-Man
They kill Spider-Man! No!
as a sacrifice to bring back Sergei Kravinoff. Right on their wall with all of their other kills,
That was gross.
with a giant stake through his heart, coming out like this far.
Oh, Spider-Man, he's supposed to be so light-hearted and funny.
As the captured Arachne, Aranya, and Madam Web sit in kind of like the boiler room of the Craven compound,
Right.
wondering what happens now that Spider-Man is dead.
Get a new Spider-Man.
The returned Craven inspects his new family and the body of Spider-Man when he notices that the scent is wrong.
Ooh.
It's the body of Kane. And during the fight, Kane beat up Peter and took his place.
Oh,
Peter wakes up where Kane left him and heads to the Craven compound to find his clone,
nice.
his brother, dead in the Spider-Man costume. And on top of the casket is the black Spider-Man costume
Oh, cool.
and a note that says, "Hunt me." Sasha Craven storms into the dungeon where the Spider Lady is being held and wants Madam Web to tell her how to save her family. But Madam Web says that she doesn't see anything at all.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she see anything at all? Because Sasha kills her in anger.
Oh, well.
There was no more future for her to see.
Yeah.
Madam Web is dead. Well, Madam Web is dying. That's an important.
Not dead yet.
No. The lights go out, and one by one, Spider-Man begins to pick off the Kravinoff family.
Nice.
He finds Julia and Anya and tells them he's going to kill Sasha.
Yeah.
As Madam Web dies in Julia's arms, and there's a glow of light from Madam Web, and she apologises, saying there wasn't any time to explain.
What's the glow?
Spider-Man finds Sasha and just pulls the skin off her face.
Oh, that's grim.
Not all of it, but like a hand, because he's got the sticky hands.
Yeah.
He pulls like a handprint, so she's got like this hand scar
That's
over her
gross.
face, but she's still alive. He fights Kraven as Sasha realises that they were never hunting the spiders. The spiders were hunting them.
Oh, plot twist.
As Spider-Man is about to kill Kraven, Julia shows up with Madam Web's powers.
Right.
That's what the glow of light was.
Okay.
She shows Spider-Man the consequences of his actions if he kills Kraven here today. If he kills Kraven, he never comes back from it and becomes something ugly and terrible and just like this unrepentant murder. He gets kicked out of the Avengers. He goes on this dark, dark path.
Okay.
But if he saves Kraven, he saves himself, and thus the thousands he'll save over the course of his life.
Oh, Okay. It works out.
Kraven begs Spider-Man to kill him because he killed himself once. Why would he want to be alive?
Yeah.
Spider-Man refuses, and because of the botched resurrection with Kane, Kraven is essentially immortal
Oh god.
because nothing can kill him except for Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And that actually comes up in that first issue of Squirrel Girl.
It does!
As Peter walks away, the Cravens manage to get away with the use of a flashbang. The next day, Spider-Man buries Kane under the name Kane Parker,
Okay.
finally acknowledging him as his brother.
Oh.
Julia and Anya are there paying respect. Anya is now wearing the Arachne costume
Right.
and will eventually become Spider-Girl.
Okay, right.
And
So sort of right.
Julia is now Madam Web.
Okay.
She tells Peter that Kane's sacrifice made the web of life stronger and that the Cravens will be back eventually. She disappears in front of their eyes, causing Spider-Man to quip. I liked it when she was hot. Hot and mysterious is going to be trouble. After this, Julia remains a supporting character in Spider-Man as Madam Web,
Oh, she's really cool.
proving a big help during the Spider Island crossover, where everyone in Manhattan gets Spider-Man powers.
Oh, that's really cool.
Eventually, she senses this great danger on the horizon, and she sends Rachel away to be safe.
Yeah.
She calls 911, telling them that there's a woman about to be needing medical assistance.
Is it her?
And then she has this powerful prophetic vision showing her every possible future at once,
Oh,
and drops
shit.
down comatose.
Yep.
I
I'll do
think
it.
this has something to do with the end of the Age of Ultron comic, where the Avengers break time,
The break time.
but it's not explicit.
Okay.
I think they happen around the same time, so I think that's what's going on, but I'm not 100% on that.
Right.
So Jessica Drew has rebuilt her life as part of the Avengers. She becomes good friends with Black Widow. She joins the Secret Avengers using her spy skills and helps them save the world from a sentient bomb
Yeah.
by making it fall in love with her.
Okay.
As of most recently, she teamed up with every Spider-Man ever
Okay.
as part of the Spider-Verse event
Nice.
and had a vital role to play in bringing down the Inheritors, saving the universe.
Yeah.
She got her own ongoing series again as part of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's a good book. It's written by Dennis Hopeless. Dennis Hopeless is a great artist. But guess who the artist of Spider-Woman 124 is?
Is it Greg?
It's Greg.
Oh, I'm so annoyed.
Good old Greg Land.
It's the worst. I hate.
Which really seems like a backward move to me.
Yeah, because like they work so hard to get like strong women and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just like, yeah, we'll just bring in like the grossest man ever.
Worst is that this was the Greg Land cover. Right there.
Yeah.
Check the leg.
Oh god, yeah, like weird legs. I forgot about those.
But they commissioned an artist called Milo Manara.
Okay.
Milo Manara is a legendary comic book artist, but he's known for how he draws women.
Right.
And he's very good at drawing women. He's a very fine artist. But the cover for Spider-Man he did was this.
Is that a joke? Is he actually joking?
No.
Is there any need?
No.
Why? What?
There was a big outcry over this.
Yeah, damn right.
And when the issue came out, it looked like that. With the
They didn't just redo the picture.
It is a variant cover, so it's only for like the people that want it. It's more expensive. It's
It's still terrible.
yeah, it's still terrible. But like Milo Manara will people will buy the book for a Milo Manara cover. Like I'll try and show you some more Milo Manara Marvel covers, and they're better. They're not he's a good artist. You can't I'm not going to deny that Milo Manara is a bad artist, but that's Valkyrie by Milo Manara, Gamora by Milo Manara,
Okay.
Scarlet Witch by Milo Manara, Captain Marvel by Milo Manara, Emma Frost, Shana.
It is like fine arty.
Yeah,
It's not really comic booky.
yeah, and that's kind of the appeal of those covers. There's a Psylocke one.
Yeah, like he's good,
Yeah,
but there's no need to just.
Storm,
There's just no need for that whole thing.
Thor, Medusa, the Wasp.
Wow.
So yeah, they did a whole Angela. They did a whole series of it, and that's what you want, I guess. Best was he did one for the Nightcrawler book, and there was nothing he had to draw Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
So yeah, Spider-Woman has her own ongoing series. She helps all the Spider-Men from the multiverse take down the Inheritors, and following this, she quits the Avengers
Oh, why?
to focus on herself as a solo hero.
Oh.
Because since coming back from Skrull hostageness,
Yeah, that whole situation.
she's just lent on the Avengers as a crutch for the entire time.
Yeah.
So she wants to rediscover herself as a superhero and as a private investigator. she changes costumes inspired by Captain Marvel to something a bit more practical, which is that.
I got it. Okay, yeah.
So that is her current costume.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like her boots.
Mm-hmm. It's designed by Chris Anker, who has redesigned a ton of the new costumes.
Yeah, like I know that a lot of people are like kicking off about stuff.
Yeah. So, and her current story, which just started, is her teaming up with Ben Urich
Oh, cool.
as a private detective, and she's on a case about the missing family members of supervillains.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
who's going to look into that?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's written by Dennis Hopeless. The art is now no longer by Greg Land. It's by Javier Rodriguez,
Okay.
who used to be. He was like a fill-in artist for Chris Samney on Daredevil.
Yeah.
So it's really got that kind of Daredevil feel.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks quite dark.
No, it's got that new Daredevil feel. That poppy bright.
It looks quite dark there.
It's dark, but it's still kind of like a bright. Like it's still colourful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Spider-Woman.
I like it.
You like it?
I like Spider-Woman.
Like Spider-Woman?
I don't like Greg.
You don't like her? I do not blame you. So yeah, that is Spider-Woman. 5 Spider-Women altogether.
Yeah.
Jessica Drew, Julia Carpenter, Matty Franklin, Charlotte Witter, and Varanki.
Yes.
There's also Madam Web,
Yeah.
Aranya. There's so many. There's like Spider-Gwen.
Oh
Yeah, she's the multiverse. Like she's Spider-Woman of her dimension. There's Ultimate Spider-Woman, who is a clone of Peter Parker,
yeah. Okay.
but female, and trying to learn what that entails. And she eventually becomes the Ultimate Black Widow. But I really like that version of Jessica Drew as well.
That's cool.
So yeah, now we have to do your favourite segment of the show.
Is there a song?
So we need to find where to place. I'm only going to do the 3 heroic Spider-Women to put on this list. So do we need to go over the entire list for everyone? Should I breeze through it?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to say at the top we have the Flash Wally West. At the bottom we have the Flash Barry Allen.
Fuck Barry Allen.
And there's about 10 to 15 heroes in between. So where does Matty Franklin go? She never really got a fair shake.
No, she didn't. I don't know.
I think she's going to go down low just because of how little there is of her.
Yeah, there's just not a lot about her.
Yeah. Below Captain Marvel, above Barry Allen, just in terms of there's not much
Yeah,
to hang a hat
maybe.
on.
Barry still has to be at the bottom
Yeah.
because he can fuck himself.
Okay, what about the former Spider-Woman, current Madam Web, Julia Carpenter?
I love her.
You love her?
She's
you,
great.
You like her costume?
I like that she's one that's like a single mother with
Yeah.
a child. That's cool.
That's cool. Okay, so where
I
does
like
she
her a lot.
where does she go?
Mm,
Above the Hulk?
hi.
Hi. Okay.
Do you not like her?
I like her a lot, but she's not like the Spider-Woman.
No, but she's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I really like that Omega Flight book. I prefer her as Madam Web. I think that's just a more interesting niche for her.
Okay.
But this isn't my list. This is your
I know.
list.
I like her.
Okay, so more than Loki,
I like her a lot.
more than Shazam. You do like Shazam so much.
Maybe between Loki and Shazam.
Okay.
Just like, because Shazam was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
A
Spider-Woman,
whole like situation.
Julia Carpenter,
I like her a lot though.
and lastly Jessica Drew.
I really like her. She's great. Do you like her?
I like Jessica Drew a lot. I really didn't for a long time.
Why?
I don't know. I think a lot of it was the costume. I couldn't take her very seriously in that costume
Yeah.
with the way the artists drew her.
Okay.
It's not
See,
really.
at least I don't get like, that like stigma or
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm going to show you an artist called Frank Cho and his depiction of Spider-Woman. And Frank Cho is another very, very talented artist.
Is this new or old?
Fairly old. And this is Frank Cho on Spider-Woman.
Is this the one you don't like?
No, I think he's a very good artist. It's just this sort of depiction of female characters in comics I just kind of don't take it seriously
It's
sometimes.
just unnecessary, I think.
So that's Frank Cho.
Okay, right.
That's Frank Cho. That's Frank Cho.
Yeah. Why are her legs so like muscular?
Frank Cho,
That's weird.
he's a bit of a fetishist. Like, he draws like some really creepy art sometimes.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't take that seriously. It just doesn't seem like he's taking it seriously.
Yeah. He's one of those guys. He got really annoyed when they changed the Spider-Man costume.
Oh, was he one of the people kicking off?
He didn't kick off, but I'll show you what he drew if I can find it. I'm definitely not. I apologise. I'm not going to remember to put this in the show notes.
I assume a lot of people know.
But if you Google Frank Cho Spider-Woman new costume, it's the first link, and that's what he drew.
Okay. Why are her shoulders out?
They're not.
Wait, what?
I don't know if they're supposed to be or not. You can't even tell. It looks like the costume starts there at the neck.
Oh, right.
It's just because he draws these costumes skin tight.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay, so where
It's
does
dumb.
Jessica Drew go?
I like her.
Higher than Julia Carpenter?
I want to put her under Julia, but yeah, put her under Julia.
Under Julia, above Loki?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Julia
I want to
a
know.
lot.
I'm really, really intrigued as to which character is going to come in between those Spider-Women, if anyone does.
I don't know, like, with me, it's not so much like, this person's better than that one. Like, I like Spider-Woman as much as I like Loki.
Yeah.
Like, they're on par to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, like, I super like Spider-Woman.
Okay, so that's our show.
Yeah.
As I said, there is no. Don't be expecting a proper show next week, but we will do something. I don't want to go a week.
I feel bad.
Yeah, I don't want to go a week without a Journey to Misery, but I want to do something for people who expect a Journey to Misery in their iTunes feed at around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday-ish.
Yes.
So we are on iTunes.
Yes.
Speaking of podcast feeds,
Yeah.
please search Journey to Misery, leave us a rating, a review, subscribe. If you do leave a review and I see it before we do an episode, I will read out on the show.
Did we get any new people?
We did not this week.
Oh no. Write something.
We are on Patreon, patreon.com/kingimpulse,
Yes.
where you can subscribe various levels. You get reviews from the both of us. You can pick an episode. This episode, once again, thank you Tanner
Yes.
for picking this episode.
Thank
A
you.
lot of fun. The next episode in 2 weeks is Dick Grayson,
Yeah.
picked by our friend Kelly.
Yes. Kelly's a good egg.
So thank you for that. So yeah, check out patreon.com/kingimpulse. As of this recording, well, not as of this recording, but by the time this episode comes out, the bonus episodes will be online.
Where are we putting them?
I don't know yet. I'm going to decide tomorrow.
Okay.
Check the post, kingimpulse.com. There will be a link to it.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to go with Selfie.
I don't know what that is.
That's where a number of people do it.
Okay.
It's SELLY dot. No, it's not.
SELLFY.
Yeah, that's the one.
There we go.
That's the one. That's why you're the brains.
Yeah.
You're the brains and the looks.
No, not really.
I'm the wild card.
Oh god. Okay, yeah, I am.
So yeah, bonus episodes will be up for pay what you want.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Selfie does pay what you want. That's going to be a deal breaker. It has to be pay what you want.
We'll see.
kingimpulse.com for all of the episodes, for the list of Helena's favourite superhero, which now has 15 superheroes on it.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Check back next week for something.
Yeah, something. Like, I'm going away for like 8 days and we're still going to put an episode up, so
Yeah.
you can count us to put something there.
So before we go, I've been Kieran Shiak. I am at King Impulse on Twitter.
I'm Helena Hart and I hate you on Twitter.
This has been A Journey into Misery.
Not really, no one died.
Matthew Franklin died.
Oh,
Madam Web died.
Oh no, don't read it now.
Jessica Drew was kidnapped by squirrels for years.
Yeah, no,
Matthew Franklin was date raped and harvested for drugs.
Stop it, stop.
We'll see you next week.